And we're live. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Live Reality Game Shows podcast. I'm here with the most successful Emily in all of Survivor Michigan. It's fact. She outlasts all the rest. It's the queen of ninth place, Emily.
Hello. Thanks for.
Emily, how are you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm like a little sick right now,
Oh, no.
but
Well, thanks for coming on to do this despite the illness. No, you didn't catch it from Kevin, who caught it from Jesse, who might have caught it from Lucy, who potentially created COVID.
yeah, wow, that was like the most disgusting thing that I've witnessed. And that's specifically why I went to the close of the front of that line. I was like, I need to be at the beginning of this, not at the
Yeah,
end.
I need to get this over and done with quickly. So I think let's get the biggest thing out of the way. You got voted off in ninth place again. How's it feel?
Um, I mean, never good when you're voted off. I This time I was completely surprised. So that's definitely a change from season 3. Like season 3, I knew it was coming 100%. Like the whole last week was just like me desperately grasping at any string I could. Whereas here, obviously, you always have the underlying sense of paranoia, and like it was getting to the point where it's sort of like someone's gonna flip soon, someone's gonna do something, but I didn't think it was gonna happen that week. So I was like, whew, like my heart just like dropped to the floor when I heard my name for the first time. But um, c'est la vie.
You can just see and just your reaction once that second vote was read. You were just like, what is happening? Why is my name being written down out of all these names? And then when you just kept hearing it, it's like, am I actually going home? And then and then the last vote was read. I kind of like to imagine you just kind of sat there for a minute before you got off trying to process what happened.
Yeah, it was. And watching my little like exit interview like right when I left, I really was just sitting there trying to take it all in, and I couldn't even formulate thoughts very well. I was just like, fuck, like what happened? I don't even I wasn't expecting that. Yeah, I was like sitting there really trying to like as they were reading my name, like I was like, okay, obviously something happened. Who was it? And I was like trying to think of like who it was that made the move because like I didn't know for sure at all. So
Thankfully, Leia was screaming while in the room, so you could easily figure out who it was.
yeah, no, soon that certainly happened. And me sitting in the hallway, I was like hearing the commotion and everything that was happening, and like there were several different conversations happening in different rooms during the fallout of that, and uh, you know, loud noises, lots of different people yelling. Um, yeah, that's also why I cast my go my I don't know what it was called, but the vote that I got,
Revenge vote, I guess.
the revenge vote. Um, that's why I cast that for Cooper because obviously I gathered that Cooper was one of the key orchestrators of this. So
Yeah. I think, well, no offense. I feel like you got dealt very bad advantages for winning them
yes, I completely agree. Um, when I that last one when I read it, I was like, "You've got to be
when it
kidding me!"
was
Like,
just a clue.
well, yeah. Oh, I was thinking. I forgot about that one. I was thinking of the
Oh,
revenge.
the Rights of Revenge one.
Yeah. Well, also the clue. The clue is bad because at that point, like they're. Oh, thank you. Yes. um, yeah. Like the clue at that point, it was like the idol was likely already found. It had been that clue. Similar clue had already been given out, and then like the revenge vote. It doesn't help you at all really in the game, and it like what why do I care really about voting after I'm out, like, and all it's going to do is either, and that's why I ended up sharing the advantage with everyone else because I was like, okay, if people don't know what it is, they might assume it's
They're
a
gonna assume the worst.
yeah, exactly, and then that might actually make me a target, so that's no good. And then I guess if I do tell them, maybe they'll be, like, a little more hesitant about doing anything against me because I could vote for them once I'm gone. But, like, things change every week and so much happens every week that, like, me voting for someone as soon as I'm out, like, I don't know what the dynamics are gonna be that week, and, like, a plan isn't formulated, so it's like my vote could just be a total throwaway vote, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think a way to tweak it would be for you to vote at the next tribal rather than right the second you got voted off. Like, see who won immunity, who's immune, who's like feeling, and potentially be a flip vote in the situation since it was like final eight. Let's say that did happen hypothetically. Andrew's immune, Cooper's immune. You saw everything what's happened. Do you have an idea of who you think you would have voted for?
If if I was voting in the next tribal and both Andrew and Cooper were immune?
Yes, like how it was. Basically, everybody went up to vote, and let's just say after that, you also went up to vote after the tribal.
I haven't watched yesterday's episode yet, so I'm trying to, like, refresh myself on what happened. Um, so are you
Um,
asking, like, between 2 people or just, like, between anybody who is left?
between anyone who was left, out of the options of people you could have voted for,
Um, Probably Adam, I guess. Like, I mean, it was
ooh,
I mean, like if 2 of the 3 people who are the people who flipped on me are immune and, like, I have to vote for somebody, like, probably gonna vote
it's
on
down to like Megan, Adam, or
them.
Sam.
Yeah. Yeah, Sam
Yeah,
too. I was like I wasn't as close with Sam, I would say. Um, like, so it sort of felt like Adam voting for me was, like, more of a betrayal than Sam voting for me, I think.
yeah, because if it happened that way, you would have made the vote a tie between Megan and Adam. So it would have been interesting to see what would happen then. It's like, well, you can make it all go to rocks, and it's like I don't have to worry about drawing rocks. I'm already out.
Yeah, that actually yeah, that could have been interesting.
Well, maybe for the future.
Yeah, I think that definitely
Um,
would have been, like, a better advantage though.
yeah, and the one that you got for being chosen to be eliminated quickly, that could have easily just been something else rather than an idle clue. Maybe something to help in like a last minute advantage, like a double vote or a potential to get an immunity. Just something that's just not a clue to an idol that's either not found or potentially not even near the room you're in. Because that
Yeah.
was what was going through my mind. If you were given that idol clue, it's like, does that mean the idol is like within distance of the vicinity of the building you're in?
Not necessarily.
Yeah. Speaking of idols, you and your fellow Saba Saba member Andrew were in an unknowing storyline of who has the Pringle idol.
Yes.
Now, the answer has not been revealed yet. We don't know. Were you voted off with a real idol, or were you voted off with a fake idol? Do you join your Salvo Salvo sister and Eliza being voted off with an idol? Or do you join the most recent boot with the actual Survivor series and thinking you were voted off with a real idol, turning out it's fake? Watching that back, how do you feel with that whole Pringle idol drama without giving too much away on the truth behind it?
Yeah, well, I'm definitely not allowed to say, who had the real one, at this point, but, I think it's interesting because I truly felt very confident that I had the idol, and I wasn't even considering the possibility that anybody else, might have it or might think that they have it, because, like, I certainly didn't hide a fake idol, like, when I found it. Um, so I was sort of sitting on this idol thinking, like, this is, like, my thing. I've kept it secret the whole game, which is, like, really hard to do, and I've made it this far, haven't needed to play it, And like this is going to be my thing that allows me to make my big move. Um, so it was kind of like key in all my planning, I think, because I was banking on using it like in a move to get out Bailey. So that's also why I was not flipping yet, and waiting. But it's really
Yeah.
interesting now to like watch and see see all what's happening for everyone else.
Yeah, all the Shannon cuts to who has the Pringle idol, and we still don't know. I believed for the longest time that neither of you two had it, and I thought it was true with the whole double tribal cliffhanger situation with
Mhm.
Kevin has the real one, but no, Ian just loves to play pranks on us.
Yes, that he does.
A lot of people believe you have the real idol because, like what you said, you didn't question if it was fake. If you hit a fake, why would you question if that was fake? So a lot of people believe you have it, but people think Andrew's being set up to fail with the fact that his idol's not real. And I like the fact that this is the one idol that looks completely different than like the Pawnee and Sangria idol that was already found that were just like simple necklaces, while yours and Andrew's were like complicated things. By any chance, do you still have it?
I don't know. Actually, well, maybe I saved it somewhere. I certainly don't know where it is if I do have it. I feel like I kept it for the longest time though, at least.
I was about to ask something. Oh yeah. Do you think if you gotten some hint you were getting votes, would you have played it?
Oh yeah. Like yes, absolutely. I had it with me. Um I brought it to every tribal that I went to after I found it. Just in case because you never know. Um and obviously like I knew like it was going to be a huge thing and it was a huge advantage for me to have that, so like I wasn't just going to play
Whip it
it.
out willy nilly.
Yeah, exactly. Like cuz like I the week that like Will went home, I could have played it for him to try to save him. Cuz like he was one of my closest allies, but then I was like, it's so early in the game, like there's no way. Like this is only going to get played like if it is very very key for my game, and I didn't feel like Will staying around. Like obviously it was a bummer that he was voted out, but it wasn't like key to my game that he stay. Um so yeah, I really had no idea. If I knew that they were voting for me, I would have played it, or at least I would have
Flashed it?
thing. I would have said like, "Hey guys, like I have an idol, so like you might want to pick someone else or something." I don't know. Sort of depends on like when I found out that I was getting votes.
Yeah, a lot of people really are debating with this move. It's obviously a big move. It was such a shock to see that you were the one to go home out of Bree, Bailey, Leia, and yourself. A lot of people are debating whether it was a good move. We can all agree it's big, but is it good? That's the big question. Do you think at the time you thought this was a good move, or was it just like, why me out of these four people?
Um, a good move for like who? For all of the people who voted for me?
I would say the Cooper, Adam, and Sam, since they're the ones that flipped.
Um, I don't, you know, I don't think so because I mean, I know that like a huge reason why the flip happened was because um like Cooper found out about the Girls Alliance and then was scared of that. But I know at least I did not want to go all the way to the end with like the whole Girls Alliance. I don't know how the other three felt, but I sort of felt like there were so many different interconnections like within that group of 7 that certainly at 9 left in the game that nobody in the 7 needed to flip on each other and that we would all still like have lots of opportunity to play good games without doing that. I think it is sort of interesting that like with the flip they chose to go for me out of all of us because I think that like of the 4 of us, probably like myself and Bree were perceived as the lower threat levels, and then Bailey and Leo were perceived as like a bigger threat. So um, I would think they would want to get out a bigger threat in their eyes. Like I don't know. I don't know that it made sense to take me out at that moment for them. Um, especially because like I mean, I feel like at least Leia had like very close connections with Cooper and Sam, so like I don't know why they felt so worried about the situation at that point, I guess.
Yeah, I would also agree. I do think you were the wrong person to take out. We do see that Adam, Sam, and Megan would have preferred Bailey, but Andrew and Cooper wanted to keep Bailey because they're closer with her. I do think they could have easily gotten Bailey. Just simply tell you, hey, Cooper Andrew is flipping. Why don't us 3 plus you vote Bailey? Bailey goes home. Do you think if they presented that plan to you, A, you would have believed it, and B, you would have gone through it?
If Andrew and Cooper came to me,
No, if Adam, Megan, and Sam, well, one of the 3 come to you, say, hey, Cooper and Andrew are flipping, and that he wants to vote you. We want to vote Bailey. We need your vote to vote Bailey, because if you don't, then you might most likely go home, or something like that. So it would have
yeah,
been 4 on Bailey if you would have gone through with it, 3 on Andrew, and 2 on you.
yeah, I think like if that happened and then I had like sufficient conversations with all of them enough that I like believed that that was actually what was going to happen, I would have done that.
Yeah, and I think they could have easily made it at least not you, because even if they're like, you can easily convince them, yeah, 100% I'm voting Bailey, and you can just be like, I don't know if I 100% trust him. I'm going to stick with the Andrew vote. That way, it's either Andrew goes or Bailey goes. I think a lot more work could have been put in to make it not you and make it who people would have preferred. But I think they just sadly like, yeah, I'm not going to argue with this. Let's just vote Emily. And I also think partly Megan kind of says this in her voting confessionals. They've been to you time after time being like, please flip. And you're just like, not yet. And I feel like they kind of just got like, we're tired of waiting. I'm sorry. Do you think you kind of just waited a bit too long? Like, when were you planning on this big flip on Bailey?
Um, I mean, I didn't have like an exact week picked out because obviously like you can't plan that exactly,
Yeah,
and it
because
all
what
sort
if
of
she wins immunity or something?
yeah, and like it all sort of depends like on the dynamics of that week. But I definitely wanted it to happen like within the next 1 to 3 weeks, I would say. Probably 1 to 2 weeks. Like I it's sort of hard. I think like let's say I think given like what I knew and like the knowledge that I had, I don't think I don't think waiting and not flipping was a bad move for me. I think it was a good move for me. Um, if I didn't have an idol, or if my idol was fake and I knew that it was fake, not saying it is fake, but if either of those things were true, then I would have flipped earlier. Not with Kevin, not that week, because that was like too early and it didn't have it didn't really have good reason behind it. And also like I didn't trust Kevin an ounce like with anything. Like and Kevin Ugh, that dude
Are you
is so
telling me
frustrating to play Survivor with.
are you telling me him constantly insulting your game and calling you worthless wasn't enough to make you flip?
Right? Like, where was the logic? Like, it's like, let me tell her that she totally sucks and is like really stupid and bad at playing the game, and then she'll want to work with me. Like, come on. Like, it was,
The reverse psychology of it.
like, for real. Like, I was sitting there and I was like, the things he was saying to me, no, I was like telling everyone else too. I was like, Kevin is being the most condescending and it's the most obnoxious thing ever. Um and also it's like I was watching, I'm not like all the way caught up, so I haven't seen all of it yet, but I like have seen like a few clips of him going off on me, and it's kind of funny because it's like inaccurate too. Like he was saying that he was like, we're both side characters, but like at least I'm having fun with it. Like you're like so depressed and you don't look like you're having fun at all. And it's like I don't need to turn on my allies, or I don't need to vote out my allies in order to have a fun time like you, Kevin. Like like I don't know. He loves playing a chaotic and like evil game and whatever, and great, good for you. But like that's not something that would necessarily like bring me joy. Like I had a lot of fun playing the game. And I also wanted to play the game in a smart way, even if that wasn't the most flashy way, because I was thinking the long game. Like I wanted it's stupid to like make big moves all the time, and it's especially stupid to make big dumb moves, like voting out one of your closest allies like at a time when you don't need to do it like for a game move. And like maybe it's like flashy to talk about at final tribal if you get there, but like you have to get there. So if your plan doesn't involve like a long game that gets you there, then like there's no point in that. So it's like I very much wanted to play a game where like I I had this big move, like, an idol that I was going to use to get out one of my closest allies that was a bigger threat than me. Like, that would have been a great move. And like, I had all these different people that trusted me and I was very well connected. And like, I think I would have been able to make a good case had that all worked, like, at Final Tribal. So wouldn't have flipped with Kevin. Long story short, wouldn't have flipped with Kevin. It was
Wouldn't
too
have flipped with
early.
Kevin.
It was too early. I was in a really good position overall in the game, and I was also in a good position within the 7, or so I thought. And so like it didn't make any sense for me to do it at that point. The week with Sarah, I did consider it more that week. I still felt that it was too early. If I hadn't have had an idol, I would have, because I would have needed to um, do some other kind of move. I wouldn't be able to sort of have that in my back pocket for like, this is like when I'm gonna make a move that will sort of like make a mark on the game. So yeah, I think it depends on the idol thing. I think because I had that though, like I don't think I was wrong for waiting. It's always like, I mean, hindsight's 2020 though. Like you always, now that like everything's
Yeah.
done, it'd be easy to say like, oh yeah, like I should have flipped. But like given where I like what I knew at that time, like I think I would have made the same decision.
Yeah. Because if you look at it from your perspective within the 7, because we all love to shit on the 7s, like we hate the 7, friendship 7, it's sus.
That's so funny. Honestly, like the different comments and the big vast range of like different opinions and perspectives is like really interesting and really funny. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
hate the 7.
yeah, oh, screw the 7. A friendship alliance, it didn't work in Big Brother, it's not gonna work here.
It's funny because I think it really got that name just because of like Leia's list and like her sort of
The other
like her referring to it as like the people she was close with. But I mean, I'm friends with like was friends with people outside of the 7, and it's not like I was like BFFs with everyone in the 7. It's like I think it's just the way that like the different connections shook out, and like sure, like there were some closer friendships in that group, but I think like the narrative around it totally got like pushed over into that realm where in actuality like I don't think that I don't think it was that extreme, you know.
I think friendship played a part of it with certain people, Leia obviously being one of them, and the main one, and kind of Bailey. But I feel like for everyone else, it was just handy because, oh, look, here's one person that's never going to write down my name. Let's group up with her because never going to write down my name. Here's a bunch of other people. Done deal.
Yeah, and also it's like I think I think more so I think for at least for me like more so than friendship it was like loyalty based on like alliances that I had since the beginning of the game or like earlier on in the game. And because this is like college survivor all-stars, it's like you are inevitably like going to have friends in the group, so like that probably impacts like who you first make alliances with. And I think like that's sort of where it originates because I mean, if like there's a big group of people and you have a few close friends in it, and then you like don't know some others, like sure you're gonna want to talk to the people you don't know, but like you'll probably talk more at the beginning to the people you do know, and you'll like be able to make an alliance with them easier. So I feel like that's how some of these like initial alliances got started, and then you've been allies with them the whole game. So it's like yeah, it started because of friendship, but then it's like they've been your allies the whole game. And like I feel like I play a very like loyal survivor game. So like I
Yeah,
don't
because even
betray somebody unless it's like a key
for
moment
a,
you need
yeah,
to. Yeah,
unless they like betray you first or it makes sense. Because like
exactly.
even in season 3, you were like Savu loyal, mostly because you were kind of forced into it because of just the mere hatred that the other two tribes had for you. Well, for your tribe, I feel like you were like the one person. Well, I don't know background details. I feel like you were the one person no one like talked hated on Savu. It was like they complained about almost everyone except you. So it's like we hate Savu except for Emily. She's grand
Interesting. I think
from a
also,
viewer's perspective.
that's also funny that you say that because I feel like I've seen a lot of comments that like when I first voted out, especially that were like like she was the least awful out of the seven, or like the least annoying out of the seven. And it's like, I guess I'll take it that you don't hate
Yeah,
me as much as everyone else.
it's like why did it have to be Emily out of the seven, the one good one? I do feel you always get yourself into groups like we hate this group except you. We just hate the people you're with.
Yeah, that is an interesting pattern. Yeah, I don't know,
Oh,
man.
what was I saying? Oh yeah, because yeah, with your like loyalty to Seven, you're loyal to Leia, who you hadn't met before. You didn't have pre-existing game with her. You created that bond through never going to a tribal until swap, and then you're tight with her, and obviously the four Sangria girls. Not a girls' alliance, a alliance of just happened to be of all girls. And then the swap happened, the shit with Kevin happened, and then you just kind of like, yeah, you're just like loyal to the main four girls plus Bailey once Jesse got voted off because then you're the Jesse Revenge girls. So it's like you're loyal to a main four, and you just wanted to stick with that four, and that just involved sticking with other people.
I think how I sort of viewed it was from the beginning of the game, I felt like my closest two allies were Will and Bailey. And that was like a separate alliance, two separate alliances for the most part. Um, and because like I mean Bailey and I were certainly talking and allies like from the very beginning of the game. And then on Sangria, then we sort of made this group that was there were like a few different groups like but there was sort of the core like it was like me was it me will
Will, Leia, and I want to say
Brie.
Bree?
Yeah.
Yeah, I
So
think it was
then
like the main four.
yes, so then so then there was like that 4, and then I was like very loyal to them. I felt very loyal to them. And then obviously Will gets voted out, but then that stays with Leia and Brie. And like still loyal with Bailey. And then we create this like girls alliance, you know. So then like Jesse comes into that too. And yeah, so I think sort of like as the game moved on, I sort of felt like my 2 closest allies were Bailey and Leia. But then, you know, I made like the group with like Cooper and Bailey. So then like
You're taking the other Emily's place in that group.
Yeah.
Like new and improved Emily.
Yeah. Yeah. So and then I also felt like I had like somewhat of a connection with Adam. I probably felt least connected to Sam on the 7. But yeah, I guess that's sort of how I view like my allies and who I was loyal to. But I think because like at that point in the 7, I think I was loyal to those 3 girls because they were like into groups that I was with like from the very beginning and chose to like align with.
Yeah, those are like 3 people you get, like you said, for with the very beginning, and it's very hard to turn on someone that you've been the entire game with. I
Yeah.
mean, it's easy for Cooper, but that's just Cooper's a robot.
Yeah, you know, it's like it's sort of it's just like however you choose to play the game, and there are some people who loyalty isn't a big thing for them, and they will do whatever. But I think loyalty was just like part of my gameplay. I feel like it's how I operate like as a person, but also as for like my gameplay. And I think that was clear going into those alliances, and also I tended to align with people who like also made that clear to me that that was what kind of alliance that they wanted. So I mean, at least all the people that I was the most loyal to didn't turn on me.
Yeah, at least it was that.
Yeah.
I think one thing that people are confused about with some moves that you made the episode your boot episode was a conversation you had with Adam where you're like, I have a plan. Adam, what's the plan? I'm not gonna say. People were like, why didn't you tell Adam the plan? And what is the plan? Because a lot of people were like, well, why didn't you tell Adam the plan? Why just say I have a plan, but I'm not gonna say what it is?
Yeah. I think like if I made one mistake during the game, I think it was probably not telling him like the specifics of what I wanted to happen. And I think why that was is like I feel like it had been like one of the main things that had been like drilled into me by like all these people who knew Survivor more than I did was that like having an idol is huge, and the number one thing you need to do is like not tell a single person that you have an idol. So I think I was just scared to tell him that I had it because what the plan was, if I remember correctly, was that I was like people were going to target Adam at some point because there were talks of that. So then I was going to play the idol for Adam. And then him and I were going to vote for Bailey, or like maybe we were going to get someone else too or something. But that's sort of like what the general vibe of the plan was. And yeah, like I should have told him. I was just scared to tell anyone that I had an idol. I didn't want that to get out. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, I mean, there's no blame in not telling somebody you have an idol because that's usually people's downfalls. You tell the wrong person, I have an idol. I mean, if you told Adam you had an idol, that could have been more reason for him to flip on you. Be like, well, we have to get Emily out now. She has an idol.
Yeah,
Is she actually going to play it on me? Who knows?
That's one of the things that I was worried about. So, I mean, I guess like not good either way because like, you know, I don't tell him and then you risk like him not, you know, feeling like he had enough information to go off of. But then it's like you do tell, and then it's like, that's what you've been avoiding this whole time, these whole months, you know. Yeah, so it's tricky. It's always tricky when you try to like formulate a plan to make a big move, because it's like you can't trust everyone completely, and like you never quite know if you're making the right decision. And yeah.
Yeah, it's like if you tell them the whole plan, then they're like, well, you have all this power, time to get rid of you. I was going to ask something that. Oh, I want to. You kind of mentioned the Sarah vote off a bit. I feel like you and potentially Megan, there was a little bit of something to be done. Like you could have voted Andrew instead of Sarah, because that was the main plan. It was going to be Andrew, and then Cooper had his way to keep Andrew over Sarah. Do you kind of look back on it and be like, maybe I should have voted Andrew instead of Sarah? Because I specifically remember your confessional being like, I don't care which one of you goes, it doesn't really matter. And then kind of looking back, it's kind of like, well, maybe if Andrew's gone, Cooper wouldn't have all the power. It's kind of like one of those small details.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't say I've thought about that really. Remind me, I haven't seen that episode yet. So what were like all the votes that people?
It was pretty much all the girls plus Andrew voted Sarah. All the guys plus Sarah voted Andrew. It was like a 6-4 split. So I'm just saying, like, maybe if you vote Andrew and Megan also voted Andrew because she also voted Sarah, it could have been like 6-4 Andrew goes, and you'd be entering the final 9 with Sarah instead of Andrew, who probably wouldn't have worked with Cooper to elaborate a plan to vote you off.
Yeah. I don't know. It's hard to say. If I'm remembering correctly, I feel like that week we had like so many discussions about who it was going to be. And it was really like we were going in circles, and like I feel like we each could think of an argument for each of them. And like I could think of an argument for each of them. So at some point it just kind of got to the point where like, okay, we just need to like pick somebody. And I went with the group because I'm like, okay, like I'm tired of having all of these discussions. Like we just need to pick somebody. So I don't know. Like I sort of didn't. I mean, there was no way for me to like predict that, you know, that I would be the one getting flipped on. Like I didn't feel like if a flip was going to happen, I didn't think I was going to be the target of it. So it's like I was worried about a flip happening certainly, but I wasn't like thinking that it was going to be me, so I wasn't necessarily worried about that with Andrew. So I don't know. It's hard to say.
Yeah, and to think it was between you and your Savu Savu brother, partner, whatever way it's being held.
Yeah, I'm just trying to get rid of all the season 3 people.
Yeah, I mean, the season 3 downfall of the pre-merge, where it's like, once one left, it was like a row of more than, like, I think it was like Emily, then Will, then Aaron, then Jesse.
Yeah. No, and that was one thing that definitely came up when like talking to Adam, is like there are like it's all season 2 with like a sprinkle of season 1, and they've like taken out all the 3s and 4s. Like that was like something that throughout the game, like we occasionally thought about, like wonder if there is this like alliance that exists. Yeah, because it's like, I mean, they've known each other for longer than we have, so.
Yeah, because the only season 2 person that was voted off before the merge was Lucy, and that was right before the merge.
Yeah. No,
And
there
then
was
you had the whole.
I was definitely worried about like a season 2, because it's like, it's like they were all already friends when I first met them, so.
Yeah. And they did make up the majority of that 7, well, minus Nick, who y'all dealt with quite quickly. Actually, let's talk about that merge with the whole Bailey 7 turned Bailey's 8, and then let's flip on Bailey's 8 to form a new Bailey 7. What was like going through your head during that moment? Other than, yay, I made the merge again.
I think at that point I was like, kind of trying to let somebody else make the plan. I think. And like there was the confessional that Cooper had that I resonated with, where he was just like, Bailey's the one like going crazy and like making all these plans, and like, you know what, let her do it. And that's kind of what I was thinking, because it's like, you're right in the merge, you're just switching to like everything being individual and like having to fight for yourself. So it's like, I'm like, I don't want to really try to, this is not the time to like really try to like rock the boat and make waves. So like if somebody else wants to be the one who's like orchestrating all of this, like as long as I'm in the know on what's happening, like I feel like that's a safer, smarter option. So I was, yeah, I didn't really have like that strong of feelings about it.
I think another crazy thing that happened that kind of sets off, I think it's the beginning of the domino effect of what happens next. The Jesse votes in the double cliffhanger tribal, where you were lucky enough to not have to worry about that. You got to sit pretty on the side and be like, yay, won the scavenger hunt. Adam shaped his head for a reason.
Yeah. And let me tell you, it's not easy to eat an entire lemon with the rind. It was terrible, and it took like an hour and a half.
I don't get how people just eat lemons naturally.
Who does that?
I've seen people.
Ugh. No, I
I'm
had it all like, I had to like cut it up into little pieces, and then I poured sugar on each piece, which helped.
Oh, that's smart.
It made it like lemonade, except you really can't do anything about the rind. It's so bitter.
Were you not allowed to pick them out?
You had to eat the rind. You had to eat all of it, like the whole thing.
Wait, what part is the rind?
Like the outside.
Oh, ew. Is that
Yeah,
healthy?
it wasn't just you had to eat the inside of a lemon. You had to eat the whole damn thing. So I was like cutting it up so that I would have it was the whole, that's why it took so long. You had to eat the whole thing. And like the rind,
Michigan, what are you doing to these people?
it was so bad.
Isn't
And then it was
like...
bad also because, oh my god, when I didn't have a car at that point, so like I couldn't go easily to like the grocery store or anything. But like Megan was going to like get stuff, so I was like, oh hey Megan, can you like get me a lemon? And then she got me a lemon, but it was like a really old lemon that was like rock hard. And she was like, I tried to find the smallest one I could, but I was like, this is a rotten old lemon, and I will not be consuming this.
She probably gave the good one to Jackson.
Oh my god. So then luckily 7-Eleven had lemons for some reason. So then I found a fresh one to eat. But it was definitely rough.
No. I feel like that's Michigan, what are you doing to these people?
Yeah.
The pregnancy calls.
Yeah.
This lemon.
Yeah. No, there was definitely. Woo.
Actually, now that I've mentioned Jackson and Megan, how could I completely forget about Abbygate? And you were someone who got the information straight from the Abby's mouth, or like relatively. What was going on with your head as someone who was kind of like a key person in that situation?
Yeah, I mean, I did not feel good about that whole situation. It was like, and like I get it's sort of like a tricky situation to handle. And it's like, I mean, like, ugh, it's hard because it's like Abby's not in the game, so it's like she didn't technically like do anything wrong, because it's like she has no obligation to, like, I'm friends with her, like she can tell me whatever she wants to tell me. But I don't know if she realized that it would like make it a bit tricky, because like obviously production had to deal with it in some way. So like what they did is they decided that anyone who was told about it, they would tell Jackson and Megan that that person knew. So like I didn't feel good about them finding out that I knew because I was worried that then they were going to target me for that. So I tried to just kind of like smooth it over the best I could and be like, oh, that's so like crazy, but like it's totally fine. Like I won't say anything or like whatever, you know. But I think that whole situation, like I just like felt a bit of anxiety about it because it's like I didn't want producers to tell them that I knew because I was worried that was going to make me a target. But then I get that it sucks for them, so it's like you don't want nothing to happen. So, yeah. But I don't think honestly that really was a big thing. Like looking back at it because people already didn't like Jackson like at all and didn't trust him.
Really? He was
Yeah.
such a nice person on season 4.
So I have to say just like from the like okay, and I'm not talking about him like as a person. I'm sure he's fine. Like
He's like hilarious.
this is I'm not coming out here and be like I hate this person. No. Like
He's not watching this.
I'm talking solely like in terms of the game and like sometimes people like play the game like with their real personalities, but then sometimes people like do different things than like they would normally do if they were talking to a person. You know what I mean? It's like everyone has their own strategy and like their own thing. So, but I just have to say that like the game interactions that I had with him, like on our tribe and like and in individual meetings with him, they just like didn't inspire a lot of confidence in me to trust him. Like I feel like I can like suss out pretty well like whether I feel like a person is trustworthy in a certain circumstance. And like I didn't feel that way. When I spoke to him and like he didn't really seem like kind of like the conversation went right to like why it would be beneficial to like have him as an ally or something. Like there was no I don't know.
Like real talk.
Yeah, like I don't know. It just seemed that like I feel like I was talking about earlier, like I play a very loyal game, so like I'm interested in having allies that are also loyal, but I feel like he was just pitching like why it would be like sort of just like objectively like a good idea to be an ally with him, and I sort of got the sense that like he would be a person who like wouldn't have a problem turning on me like if he felt that it benefited him the best in that moment. Like on a whim, he could just turn on me. So like that's how I felt. And sort of whereas like other people, like I felt confident that like, you know, Bailey or Leia wouldn't turn on me unless it was like a huge thing, you know what I mean? So yeah, that's sort of how I felt. And I feel like when I talked to other people, I feel like that was also the vibe. Like he was, you know, on the bottom of our tribe before that. So, and I mean, I guess Megan was on a different tribe, so I don't know. I can't say as much for her, but like, I think overall, that didn't, from a player perspective, that didn't really seem to play a huge role. Like, I feel like there was a lot of talk like, oh, this whole thing started this whole thing, and then it was just like a downfall for them. But like, no,
I would say it was more of a downfall from Megan. Jackson, when he came on, he was like, it didn't really, he said it didn't affect him that much because he was already on the bottom. It was more effective on Megan and her tribe situation. So if I ever get a Pawnee person on this, I'll probably go into more detail with them. But with the Jackson one, he was like, yeah, it didn't really affect me because I was already on the bottom with these people.
Yeah.
Also, I feel like everyone forgot about it after a week or two.
Yeah, like, and that's what I mean. Like, I feel like it didn't, like, maybe that week it felt like a big thing, but then, like, after that, it didn't play much of a role.
Yeah, there's like 7 more big things that piled on top of that where people are like, yeah, we know Megan and Jackson were dating. Do we understand it? No, but good for them.
Yeah, like, you know, there's like I like they're dating, but like lots of people like Cooper and Leia are best friends. Like there's lots of people like in the cast that have close relationships of whatever kind with each other. So it's like, okay, you know.
Speaking of close relationships, you made it to the loved ones episode. I always find it really awkward when college survivors do a loved one episode.
I
Unless it's like
I missed the loved ones episode, right?
oh, I'm so sorry. I thought that was I'm
I
too caught up with this episode.
no, that's funny because I remember that I almost made it, but then I didn't make it because they told us that Loved Ones was going to be the next Sunday or whatever. And I already had one of my friends was going to come. But then I got put it off.
Sorry, I forgot. I thought you were still in the game. My
Just
mind is still
dead, man.
yeah, it's just like wait, yeah, it's Emily is still in the game. Wait, what? That's not Emily? Let's just say it's her. So what was it like getting someone to participate? It's like, hey, can you come on this college club survivor thing with me?
Oh, well, I mean, all my friends, I mean, I wouldn't shut up about Survivor. So like all my friends knew all about it. And like obviously like my acapella friends, it's like Abby had already done Survivor. So she talked about it and like that's how I even found out about it. And applied.
Oh.
So then I was talking about it. And then the next semester when Camila did it, she was talking about it, and then All Stars were talking about it again. So it's like the Sopranos were very, very well acquainted with the idea. And then also like who I was gonna bring my roommate. So like she obviously heard me talking all the time about it. So I was like, they're doing a Loved Ones episode. Do you want to be on in a YouTube series? Like
Do you want to be YouTube famous?
yeah, you'll be super, super famous.
We're slowly getting all of the acapella singers onto a season.
There should be like an acapella exclusive acapella Survivor season.
Or like Survivor acapellas versus like jocks or something. Sort of like a Brains Brown Beauty, but it's like singers versus athletes versus scientists or something like that.
Yeah.
Or like a battle of the clubs.
Lots of ideas for the future.
Michigan, if this ends up as a future season, I will take credit for this. And you were saying you were mentioning the comments would have like, oh, why did it have to be Emily? She's the least annoying out of the seven. Do you expect like such like and people were like going off on way too many stuff. People were going off when the cliffhanger episode happened, when Sarah went home, when you went home, this past episode. Are you kind of like seeing where Survivor Michigan is nowadays to like back when you played when not even season one was out when you first played and now we hear All Stars is happening, and there's like what 5 other seasons in the back.
Wait. So what do you?
Oh, what was my question? Like, did you expect like such a big response and such big reactions to these people to just this series in general?
Oh, no. I think it's really cool and pretty crazy. Like I mean, when I joined, it had only been going on for a year. So it was pretty small. Like a lot of the season one people I feel like were already gone. So it was like a lot of like the season two people were just producing, and it was just like a small little club at school, and it was really fun, and I definitely feel like it I mean, it's obviously grown a lot, and that's really cool. And like now we have these like Survivor Michigan reunions. We started them like 2 years ago. So now it's like fun to go back and see like just how huge it is now. Like there's so many people still involved in the group, and like these reunions will have like our group me keeps getting bigger with like all the people from all the different seasons, and like I come back to the reunion and there's like all these people I've never met before. And yeah, I think it's really cool. I think it's neat. that people, you know, it was really fun to make, and I'm happy that people enjoy watching it as well. Um, yeah.
Because to get moments like this, I feel like you are a part of like a lot of big moments that to this day people like either quote or it's like one of the big Michigan moments, like the rock draw in season 3, the check your email situation, um, the double tribal where everyone's crying,
Yeah.
the aftermath of your vote off. Because I know you haven't seen the edited version and what everybody's screaming at each other, but you were like in the room hearing it all. Did you expect such a big explosion after you got voted off?
Well, I have to say, I was like, I don't know if have to say like, I don't know that I expected anything because I was so taken aback by the whole thing. So like, I had no expectations. But I must say, like, I was kind of glad that there was such a big blow up because I'm like, if I'm going home, they flipped on me, like. At least it's causing a ruckus. Like at least there's like a little bit of drama here, you know. So it's like I might be gone, but at least I went in style. And like I'm glad it like mixed things up and that my allies were upset that I was gone, and that it, broke some trust and stuff. So I feel like it was a sign that I at least had an impact on the game.
I mean, after you were voting off, the show had to take a 2-week break, and then the actual people took like a 3-day break of playing Survivor.
Yeah, pretty
The B stands for
cool.
breaks in Survivor. And I know you haven't seen the episode yet. I just want to share a little meme I've made based on the person that was voted off just recently, Megan, sad to see. But I just think this is funny and I want to share it with the world if I can find it. Yeah, here it is. I don't know if you're a fan of Scream.
I have seen Scream. Wait, okay. Yep.
Welcome to Act 3. I think this sums up pretty much what's coming up in the upcoming episodes. So my last question for you, Emily, I don't want to keep you here too long. I know you have plans because you have actual life outside of the show.
Yes, it was
Um,
3.5 years ago. So
yeah, 3.5 years ago, and she still hates Cooper to this day. No,
no,
I'm kidding.
no, I'll
No.
be seeing Cooper next month. So
So now that you're on the jury again, what are you looking for as a jury member? Are you very much like, I'm voting with my allies because they're loyal to me, or are you going to respect the move that was made against you, or is it like, why this move? So, what are you looking for as a jury member?
as a jury member, I'm definitely not someone who would like only vote for an ally. I just want to get like as clear of a picture as I can of each person's game. And I think if they are able to articulate like all the moves they made and they make sense, like I think that they're smart, like I will vote for them even if they're one of the people who turn against me. Or whatever. Like I am not one to like hold a grudge in the jury position.
And I think it's definitely this season, the way you're voted off is a lot more satisfying than the last season, where you kind of got twist screwed. Where this
Yeah.
one you went out as like a true Survivor player, a good old fashioned blindside.
Yes, I definitely feel that way. Like last time it was just a slow trudge to the end. That last week it was like I ended up in a group of people. I was the obvious choice to go. And there really wasn't much. I tried to do lots of different things, but in the end of the day, there wasn't really anything I could do. And here, obviously, Blindside's very interesting. It's like a big moment flipping on this alliance. And it's like one of the first like cracks in this group of people. So I definitely think it was more exciting, and like had a bigger impact on the game than last time. So Yeah, I'm like, I'm gone, but you know, I'm still looming over the game.
Yeah, your presence is still sensed, and revenge will be made. It might not be through the rights of revenge
Yeah,
advantage.
they did. I was told that they changed the name of the group chat to Jesse and Emily's Revenge after I was
Oh,
voted out.
these girls will get revenge. Watch them be the final three, and you look at the boys being like,
Yeah, really.
you picked the wrong one. So, thanks, Emily, again for coming on, for joining. I was going to ask something else. Oh, how's it feel to be the best Emily in all of Michigan?
um, wow.
Both times you beat out Emily L and Emily Paddock.
I guess I did do that. Well, it feels pretty good, I suppose. Like, you know, you gotta as an Emily in a world of Emilys, you know, you gotta do whatever you can to stand out.
Well, you'll always be the queen of Emily's, and you'll be the ninth place queen throughout all the other nine places. I mean, who can say they got ninth twice?
Thank you. So true, right?
So thanks again for coming on. Thanks everyone for watching. If you want more Michigan content, watch the season. It's actually good.
It is good, yes, and it's good. Ian put a lot of work into it, and I think it's a lot of more interesting things happen. So it's worth keeping watching. Yeah,
Yeah,
thank you
like
for having me too.
your favorite might be voted off, but you can still root against people and just hate watch the season until your least favorite gets voted off, I guess. Like your favorite might be gone, but it's like you want to watch the downfall of the others, right?
Yes, like we've got like crazy characters left. We still have underdogs. Like there's somebody you can find to root
Yeah,
for, you
I'm
know?
root for. There's plenty of people. Please
You
keep watching this season.
know.
Yeah, it's a revenge tour. So please keep watching this season, and we will see you next time for another Survivor Michigan related video, and we'll see you next time.